Hi, and welcome to Tennis Volley Talk with Brian Danielson. This episode, just wanted to kind of recap, just hoping everybody had a nice Merry Christmas and a wonderful new year. And hope everybody came through that okay, and saying goodbye to 2025 and saying hello to 2026. Now, basically what I'm going to be doing here today is kind of covering the Australian leg of the Australian circuit, so to speak, as far as getting ready and building up to the first major of the year, the Australian Open, which should come out and be pretty good. And maybe, hopefully, Madison Keys will win another one, but you never know. Sabalenka may have something to say with that, or Rabakina, she might have something to say about it too. So who knows? That might happen either way. But right now, what they're doing is they're actually in the midst of the United Cup, and it's a mixed team event. And it's in Perth and Sydney, and with the tops players like Iga Swiatek, and then also Coco Gauff and many of the others, along with Alex de Minaur and some other players along the way. And then what they have is the Brisbane International, and that's a WTA 500 event. And, there's going to be quite a few players with that, and that starts January 4 on that. And then they have the Canberra International, and that's a combined challenger and WTA 125 tournament in that respect also. So with that, it is just kind of the realm of, getting ready, kind of being prepped and kind of finishing up all the, year end of the kind of the small vacations that the players are taking now with everything that they're doing. And also with that, then choosing other different kind of smaller events and fun events that they have that they do along the way with the leading up to the Australian Open. And then this is the January is when it starts, and the roll and starting the momentum and kind of getting in some rest with some of the others and the way they're doing it. And I did hear that Carolina Pliskova is coming back, and she is starting out in, I think, Perth, in that respect, as far as, or maybe Sydney, I'm not quite sure. But anyway, she had back in 2025 at the U.S. Open, she had an ankle injury and required some surgeries in 24 is when it was. And then also some surgery in 25. Now she's coming back with that, and hope for the best with her, because she's such a good, solid player and such a wonderful serve also, as far as that goes. And she hopefully she'll get back into it and keep on going with that, because she's a very fine player herself with that. But, with that, everybody, I just want you to like, subscribe, and comment, and with the tennis podcast here. And then also you YouTubers, you'll be hearing the racket of the week, along with you YouTubers, you'll be hearing racket of the week also. So, but you podcasters, you'll be hearing it. And then if you want to take a look at it, you can look at my podcast, Tennis Volley Talk. And then so you can see the racket that I'm going to be talking about, and a little bit of history of that too, which was really good also. But with that too, I do kind of want to give a big thanks out to, and a big, huge thanks to all of the ATP players that I was able to talk to over the last month, and starting with Vince Van Batten, and had a very good interview and talk with him, and then followed by Mel Purcell, which was what a wonderful talk, and what beautiful stories he had. Of course, I kind of, had that little familiarity with him because of the Bank of Oklahoma tennis tournament that I was taking pictures in, and taking pictures for 10 years with that. So that was a very fun interview with him, and the history that he had. And also then with that, followed up by the great Brian Gottfried, that was on the top 10 tennis player back in the day, and talked about his history and his journey. And then with that, the history that he was able to relay about his tennis time, and also back in the day in playing tennis in New York and the US Open, the French Open, and all of that. And then with his doubles partner, Raul Ramirez, that he got to play with later on. And then followed that up with Dick Stockton, which was that would actually also played at the Bank of Oklahoma tennis tournament too, which was actually a very fun interview, and then talked about his history and his tennis playing, and how he started, and everything. And then some wonderful stories in history that he had also. And then with that, he has a very special charity that he does called Boots to Court. And that's where he goes around to very many different Army bases. And for that day, he teaches free tennis to any of the active military and spouses. And just a wonderful thing that he does with the charity work that he does. And he has something big planned, hopefully, that will come about, which I do hope that that does come about for him, in having one of those possible court training and free clinics on a battleship. What a wonderful sight that would be, to do something like that. But you just don't want to hit it too hard, or hit an overhead too hard, unless you wanted to go take a dive off the aircraft carrier to go get the balls. But anyway, they might wait for you. But with that too, I followed that up, and then I had a wonderful talk, and very good stories, and tennis stories in the history with Johan Creek, that now is in a facility and teaching tennis in Florida. And it was just wonderful with being able to talk to these guys, and having their tennis journey. And along the way, got to talk a lot of tennis also with that too. And then with that also, just the fact that I was, so gracious that they put in their time to give me their time to be able to talk to me and give me the interviews that they did, which was really fun. Now, what I'm just hopefully I will be then getting some more interviews later on, and depending on whoever gets back to me, and if they can get some names for me. I told them to hunt some names down and tell them about my podcast, so hopefully they'll do that, and I can get some people excuse me, that will call, and then I can be able to do an interview with them too, with that. But with that too, I just want to say, a great thanks, and just winding and coming up on this new year. I did have an elbow injury. I'm getting over that. I will be getting back out and starting to hit the ball. Just see how it goes, and hopefully the elbow and arm will get better, and it will not hurt or anything, and I'll be able to get back and be playing for the summer circuit whenever the winter ends, and I'll be getting back out on the summer circuit once that starts. And then I have some other things that I'm planning, a possibility of doing through the summer, and then heading somewhere to be able to possibly play on a red clay court in Texas. So it just really depends on that and how that goes too. But with that, I just wanted to see and let you know, here's the racket of the week. And basically what this is It's a McGregor racket. It's a Fleetwood racket, but boy, what nice color on it. It's a light colored racket. It's probably ash, a very hardwood ash with the layers of the in between, so making the head of the racket. It does have the extra strings at the bottom and top of the cross strings here, which were really mainly used for the early days of string dampeners is what it was. But they had the way they tied it. They had little knots on one side, and then it was smooth on the other. And then what you'd do is you'd spin the racket and see, do you want knots or smooth? And then they'd choose, and whoever won that, then they got their choice of the serve or returning with that. But it's a very nice McGregor racket is what it is. Still very, and I like the color of it too, because it's kind of a lighter, darker color, and it has that V right here, that kind of a goldish V, red Fleetwood on it, and then it has the black McGregor. It's fiber reinforced throat is what it is. So fiber reinforced, and then with the ribbons here too. The ribbons here, and so some of you that may not know about a little bit of the history of this and of that is really kind of what they used these ribbons for back in the day, was hopefully in the strengthening of the lower part of the head of the racket to give it some stability, and then some ribbons with here that were hoping to give some stability and strength to the throat of the racket too. But I do like the lighter color in between here, and has some the darker color on the edge right here with that, and then the lighter in the middle of the little black the black stripe that goes all the way up and down. But it's a very straight racket. You could probably even hit with this racket also. Still, and it's probably, this racket is around probably in about the 50s, 60s is when this racket was around and was manufactured by McGregor. But now McGregor Sporting Goods was operating in 1910, was engaged in baseball and football, but tennis rackets were also offered in their days. They may have been manufactured under the contract by another company. The company bought Draper and Maynard back in the day. McGregor bought Draper Maynard in 1937, but stopped production in Plymouth, where Dam was Dam was located, and he discontinued all the equipment. But Draper, it was done somewhere about 1910, and they kind of in the days of that then did these rackets for that back in about 1910. But like I said, the tennis rackets were offered in their days. Like I said, under contract by another company. The company, and then McGregor, then I said later, bought Draper Maynard, and so that's how kind of McGregor started. Wasn't around awfully that long, but it still lasted up until the 50s, 60s, 70s. It's still pretty popular today. But they just they've kind of gone more to the baseball, football, stuff like that, and McGregor baseball gloves and stuff of that nature. But they did make and manufacture the tennis rackets back in the day, and it was a very nice racket, like I said, with this. So just with that, you YouTubers, if you like that and like the racket of the week, just let me know. Like, subscribe, comment, and then you podcasters, you're going to be hearing about the racket. And if you want to take a look at it, just go to my podcast, Tennis Volley Talk, and take a look at it too. So with that, just want to let you know about that. And that would be the racket of the week here. And with that, I just want to thank everybody for the years that I've been doing this, and I will continue on doing this, and hopefully be getting some more interviews with some other ATP tennis players, and hopefully, with that. But another shout out. What does everybody think about some of the tennis podcasts out there, which are like the Andy Roddick Served, or Advantage Connors, where Jimmy Connors and his son Brett are on the podcast together and talking about tennis stories and other kind of stories also. And they did have whenever they had Thanksgiving, they did have a guest on, which was actually Jimmy's daughter, Aubrey, which was really cool to hear, and talked about what she's doing. And she lives in Florida. She was in California and then moved to Florida, and she's doing very successful right now in doing what she's doing, and even swimming with the shark. So that's really kind of cool. And then also you have the Stevie Johnson, Jack Sock, Sam Quarry, and then with that, John Isner along on their podcast that they have Nothing Major. So that's always a fun podcast to listen to too, because they do a lot of fun little things with some of the interviews that they have. So, shout out to all of the Served and Advantage Connors, and then Nothing Major. All you guys, if you get the notice, I'm here. Like to talk to you guys and do an interview with you on my podcast to help grow my podcast. So with that, I do want to thank everybody for joining me again today. And everybody, if you're out in the warmer weather and warmer climates in the South, be sure and get out there and play. Keep on playing. Me, I'm going to be waiting until my elbow kind of recovers a little bit more. I did get out and hit a little bit ago, but I could feel it a little bit. But we'll see how it goes in a week or so, and seeing from there and see how it feels. But everybody, you have a great week this week, and I'll talk to you next week. And thank you again. Everybody have a good week.